what we're going to unpack today is insights from that and really what we do differently and why most brands are overpaying and also underperforming when it comes to their ads. Welcome to the Six Figure Amazon Store podcast, where we help you boost order value, keep customers coming back, and turn more clicks into sales to scale your brand on Amazon. Let's dive in. Hi there, welcome back to the Six Figure Amazon Store podcast. I'm Becky, your host, and today we're going to dive into a topic that might challenge what you've been told, and that is Amazon PPC management and what most Amazon agencies won't tell you. But if you're a CEO, CMO, or a founder of a brand and you're selling 6 or 7 figures on Amazon, you're looking to scale up, this episode and podcast is made for you. And if you're feeling stuck, maybe your ads are burning through your budget without a clear ROI, or your growth on Amazon feels capped or stagnated, this episode is also to help you know what you need to know in 2025 for Amazon ads and managing those ads. Now, at ClickFluency, we've helped brands doing 5-figure months grow into consistent 6-figure sellers, and also those who are already doing 6-figure months to just scale and grow further on Amazon. And we do manage Amazon PPC for businesses that are doing as little as 4-figure spend, and even those that are spending closer to 6 figures monthly on Amazon ads. So what we're going to unpack today is insights from that and really what we do differently, but also things that you could think of as you're trying to evaluate what step to do for your brand next, and why most brands are overpaying and also underperforming when it comes to their ads. So if you're looking for clarity, confidence, or just a new level of control in your Amazon ad strategy, you're in the right place, and let's dive right in. So here's what no one really wants to admit in the Amazon services world. The first is that more spend on ads does not equal and mean more growth. The second is more complexity doesn't mean better strategy. And third is more reporting and more reports don't actually equal more ROI. So most agencies would just love to wow you with dashboards, daily reports, flood of campaigns, and things like that. Softwares are almost notorious for doing that, where they'll just create a bunch of campaigns all at once. But what you need, especially as a brand, if you're scaling to 7 figures and beyond, is to understand, and someone that understands business outcomes, not just ad levers. So I would say at ClickFluency, we don't just run ads. We're really looking at engineering a profitable growth through PPC, and is based on data, clarity, and aligned business goals. So if you're talking to an agency and they're pressuring you to spend a certain amount, for instance, just be careful. Now, while we do for our clients, for instance, we inform them if we see more room for growth because that's a good thing to do. We also want them to feel comfortable with the ad spend and the return they're seeing. Now, obviously, if the return is making sense for them, most likely they will want to continue to increase the ad budget. But this is something that you just want to make sure that you're paying attention to. Now, let me share with you what's possible, because we have seen it. And I'm talking even if you want to start with less than 5 figures in monthly ad spend, because I know some agencies won't even talk to you if you're at that point. I do think you need some ad spend depending on your category. There's just so many different things. I'll have a link in the show notes of our contact email if you're kind of curious to know a little bit more about that. But one of our clients that came to us was doing right around $20,000 a month on Amazon and in sales. And they were stuck, frustrated, really unsure if their ads were even working. So you might feel this way too. Maybe you're not sure if your ads are working. Maybe you're just unsure about what you don't know. That's a lot of times what I hear, because, for a lot of brands, that's not what they're really trying to spend their time on. Now, after 60 days, we reworked their campaigns. We were cleaning up their targets, also just aligning their ads with their most profitable products and keywords that were performing best for them, since they had a very aggressive ROAS goal in this example they wanted to really achieve profitability. So they were able to then grow their overall sales, also increasing their ad spend while still maintaining a strong return on ads. And that's obviously a huge win. And we didn't compromise their return on ad spend, their ROAS, for the purposes of just growing sales. We really doubled down on what was working, and we cut out the noise and what wasn't working. And that's where what real growth can look like. It's not going to be typically overnight hacks that do this one little thing and you're going to all of a sudden skyrocket your sales, but it's really that sustainable scaling when you have clarity. So we focused on what products were yielding them the best results in this example, And we really pressed into that to get them the results that they were looking for. Now, let me share with you some truths behind scalable Amazon PPC management. And this really can help. This is what we do, I think, that distinguishes us from other agencies. And I'm going to share with you, though, just of how you can apply them to your brand, because I just want this to be helpful for you no matter what. So the first is stop running every ad type just to look busy. Now, agencies, freelancers, contract workers, maybe you're hiring someone internally, they love to launch everything. And sometimes it's all at once. Sponsor products, sponsor brands, display. But if your core sponsor product strategy isn't profitable yet, then you're scaling noise, you're scaling wasted ad spend, you're not scaling performance at that point. So a way to apply this to your situation is look at your sponsored products, really make sure that you have dialed in your keyword match types, and make sure you're tracking your ACoS and your TACoS before you're expanding. So your advertising cost of sale and your total advertising cost of sale before you're expanding. And my recommendation is look at the last 3 months and track that progress. If you have seasonality to your product or just in general, I would recommend, if you can, go back as much as 12 months to see what has been the trend and trajectory of your, TACoS, for instance. Now, another way to think of this is, are you running sponsored display ads just because you think you should be? Now, make sure that you're not just looking at the overall level, because you can obviously, when you're going into Amazon advertising console, you're going to see the big picture view of everything. That's going to be a quick high level. If you're a CEO or CMO, you're going to love that dashboard. But I will encourage you to click at the campaign level. That means you're going to see below that in blue, you can click into a campaign and look at any that are sponsored display ad types, for instance, and see, are they working for you and towards a goal that you have in mind? And if it's good if an agency is testing those, but if they're running them and there's not a clear goal behind them, they can end up costing you, as those are one of the most expensive ad types. And there really has to be a clear goal behind running sponsored display ads. Second, conversion first always. So no ad strategy can outspend a weak listing. If your title, your images, your A+ content isn't converting, you are most likely wasting ads and your ad budget. And that's just something that you want to go back to. I have a lot of episodes on that if you're interested to learn a little bit more about what you need to be paying attention to. Most likely at this point, you probably already have an idea, but how to apply, you want to audit your product listing pages. So look for your sponsored product search term report and that's in your advertising console over the last 30 days. And then I want you to filter out keywords that have a low or no conversion rate. Those are ones that you should not continue to run ads on, targeting. And then look for those that have a strong conversion rate as well. And that can help you to put into your listing. If the keyword is allowed in your listing, you should be adding those in as well if they're converting really well already. Third is scaling spend doesn't equal scaling results. I kind of already alluded to this and mentioned it earlier, but many agencies are just equating more spend with more sales, and unfortunately it just doesn't work that way. Obviously, because everyone would be doing that, right? If that was true, you do have to scale smart. So that means that you're going to have to consolidate spending into what's working and then carefully layer growth. So this does take time. I would say don't go to, anyone expecting amazing results in such a short amount of time. If you really, especially if you're jumping up an ad spend, you gotta be so careful with this, because sometimes when you jump up ad spend too fast and too quickly, it can really, hurt your metrics that you're trying to hit, such as your ROAS, return on ad spend. So how to apply this, look at your reports weekly, and that's what should be part of what anyone's doing for your ad account if you're having them manage it. And there should be a killing of the wasted spend. So anything that is just leading to no results. And then that should be then reinvested into your top 10 to 20% of performers. This is especially helpful if you have a larger catalog, but this could be helpful even if you just have 5 products in your catalog on Amazon. So unless you have a purpose or a reason for continuing an underperformer, so for instance, I think a good reason could be that you're having a new product launch time period. That obviously then makes sense. Fourth is auto campaigns are not a strategy. Now, I love auto campaigns. We definitely do those, but that's really going to be helpful for data collection, but not necessarily growth. A lot of agencies and softwares will do this too, where it's just a set it and forget it. So you want to think through Auto campaigns are great for discovery, but then you need to be pulling those keywords into manual campaigns where that has tighter targeting and it has more control. This is really going to help you. And ad agencies should continually be building out existing campaigns, and then they should be creating new ones as well. So especially as things are just fast moving on Amazon and in the digital world in general, right? You want to maximize staying on top of any new words that might be giving you traction. So that's why new campaigns should be created, new keywords should be tested because, seasonally and just in general, all of a sudden a new keyword might be searched more often on Amazon. You want to make sure that you're capitalizing on that and that if it leads to results for your brand, that you press into that as well. Now, fifth is your ads must match your business goals. If you want to build awareness, do you want to rank a new product? Are you trying to get rid of inventory? Every goal has a different strategy. So you should be aligning your campaigns with your business stages. So don't even run all of your ads with the same KPIs. For instance, going back to that, launching a new product, that is going to have a very different metric that you're looking at for success than an established and maybe even your hero product, right? So what you measure should change depending on your goal. Now, here's kind of what makes or breaks Amazon growth. And this is what I've learned after we've managed multi-millions in Amazon ad spend, but brands that win long-term aren't just managing ads, they manage growth. And they're usually partnering with a team or they have someone that's thinking strategically. They're spending responsibly and they're focusing on long-term profitability as well. Because Amazon is not a channel that you can manage casually anymore. You do have to be very strategic with it, and it's a strategic arm of your business. And your team should understand things like whoever's running your ads, your ad team, your margins, your inventory position, your brand goals, and your competitive category dynamics. Those are things that do matter when you're running ads. So we don't treat PPC as just a tactic, even though we use tactics, obviously, as a smaller part of our bigger strategy, but we treat PPC on Amazon as a revenue lever that deserves strategy behind it and truly customize it for each brand, because what may work well for another brand may end up hurting your ad. So be very careful about generic advice and trying to apply it to your brand and to your products for ads. So here's a few things that you can do this week. And one of the things is check your current campaign structure. Are you doing different match types within those campaigns? Look at your ACOS and your tacos. Remember, I mentioned doing at least 3 months worth, ideally looking at a year back as well, and seeing, are you scaling with intention? What is the direction that those are going? You should see some overall, especially if you're looking at a whole year's worth of data, you should be seeing a good trend. And then look at your top 10 converting keywords. Are you maximizing those? Do they have exact match campaigns? Are you also doing top of search placement? Meaning they're going to show up first and you're bidding highly on that. If it's a strong converting keyword for you, that is where a lot of money should be spent on because it's giving you results. And also, most importantly, does your PPC strategy align with where your business is trying to go? This is something that only you can answer, but it's something that you need to ask yourself, and this will really help you to make sure that you're aligned with how you decide to do Amazon ads. Now, if you're a high 6-figure brand, you're trying to break into 7, or maybe you're already there, you want more profitability, less ad chaos, it's definitely time to think through your PPC management. I hope this episode gave you not just some how-to insights, but also some hope and to see what is possible for your brand and the determination to know the direction that you need to be going so that you don't have to play the PPC guessing game anymore. So, and if you do want us to take a look at your strategy and show you it's possible, I will have a link in the show notes with just a contact email. So feel free to email and just ask your question there. And until next time, keep optimizing those listings, also those ads, and happy selling. Talk to you next week. Bye.
Just like your customer reviews on Amazon help you grow, your review on Apple Podcasts helps us reach more brands like you. If you enjoyed today's episode, would you please take a moment to leave us a review? We'd really appreciate it. Thanks so much.